Good afternoon. How are you today? It is one of the most beautiful days in Indianapolis I can recall. It's a great day. It's a great day to be alive, and it's a great day to be outside. Hopefully you've had that opportunity. I was driving yesterday and I saw a Bible verse on the side of the road I don't know if it was on a post or what. It was Jeremiah 33:3. It says, "Call unto me and I will tell you great and mighty things which you do not know." And that verse is used a lot, but it's probably most of the time taken out of context. That verse was, in the context, the prophet Jeremiah telling the world, or the Israel nation, that God's telling them to call unto him and he'll express great and mighty things to them. And so in context, it was Jeremiah the prophet telling the nation of Israel to call unto God. And so what that means to you and me as modern day followers of Christ is it tells us the character of God, that God is a God who will tell you great and mighty things which you do not know. And so take that into account and think about the role of a prophet in the Bible. The prophet was to tell the future to the people. And anytime a prophet would not be correct, their death sentence was to be stoned, because it suggested they weren't a prophet sent by God Almighty. And so what the prophets would do is they'd call unto God, and God would tell them great and mighty things which they don't know, which is the future. They would know the future, and they would foretell that to the nation of Israel so they might be able to act in accordance with what God has in store for them. So that verse tells you the character of God. And so the character of God says that you ought to call unto God, let him know your heart, let him speak to you. Listen quietly when he's talking to you, because he will express great and mighty things that you do not know. I think all the great inventions of time, those came from the mind of God and not from the mind of man. And so God shared his creative being with great people, some of which may or may not have known God, but yet we can become great by simply being ourselves and calling unto God and letting him tell us great and mighty things which we don't know. The main thing we don't know is the future. So getting all anxious about the future and not falling deeper in love with Christ is kind of contrary to what the prophet was telling the nation of Israel. Just call unto God today. Tell him what you're thinking, and just be quiet. Maybe go for a walk in the woods. Enjoy his presence and see if he doesn't tell you something mighty. See if he doesn't tell you something great. See if he doesn't tell you something you did not know. I bet he will. That's how he rolls. So I'm going to go. You guys have a great day.